Greetings, everyone. Welcome to THL's Hearthcenter, bringing you the highlights of the latest weeks in THL. I'm one of your hosts, Lotus Knight, and I am joined by my great nighttime crew. First, by my right, we have Geranium Battle. Geranium, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It is playoffs now. It is the time when the hypest matches of the season get to happen. So glad to look at them.
For sure. And to my left, Azalea Kari is here tonight. Azalea, how are you?
I am doing well, thank you.
Now, if you're building wireframes, the words you're writing.
Why is there a commercial? Sorry. The song video decided to play a commercial, even though I stopped it. But,
Gotcha.
I'll come back to the question. How are you, Azalea?
Oh, I'm doing well. I've had a good week. Excited to see how the final week of the season for Legacy and Hero played out, and to see where we stand heading into our final week of Pro Series.
Nice. And Chicken, how are you?
Doing pretty well, thanks.
Awesome. We have a lot for our show tonight, so I'm going to hop straight into Player of the Week. And we're going to open with our Hero Player of the Week. So, Geranium, who is our Hero Player of the Week?
I will get
Well,
that.
our hero player of the week is none other than Zangster. A player's first season of THL can be very tumultuous when it comes to match results. In the final week of the regular season, Zangster's hard work paid off as he got a 3-0 sweep for his first ever THL match win. Congratulations and great work.
Congratulations, Zangster, on getting Hero Player of the Week. Who is our Legacy Player of the Week, Chicken?
Our legacy player of the week is Eternal. When a team needs to make a final push for playoffs, that is when captains step up for their team, and Eternal stepped up in a big way for ET Cthulhu with a 3-0 sweep on stream. Congratulations on Player of the Week.
Congratulations, Eternal, on getting Player of the Week. Finally, who's our Pro Player of the Week, Azalea?
Our Pro Player of the Week is Stinzy. It's good to be at the top. If you're Stinzy, you look at the Pro Conference page, and what do you see? Your name at the top. They had a great week with a clean sweep in the 1 seed for Staff of the Four Dubs and Owl, and get to lead their team the final week with peace of mind, knowing playoffs is locked. Good luck to all the staff of Dubs, and extra luck to Owl, who ironically has 4 dubs himself. Thank you for the write-up, Basting.
Nice. Congratulations, Stinzy. And yeah, this is quite the crew. Any thoughts on these before we move on to Hero? So before we begin, actually, I have a quick thing. There were a lot of balance changes this week, right on Monday. So we're going to see notes on the previous meta, not on the meta that we're starting to see now that it's starting to form when we talk about the show. So before we talk into the new meta, can you just remind us, Chicken, what was the meta like last week? What were some of the main classes that got destroyed with Dispatcher that didn't?
Well, Rogue was certainly the most played class, at least on ladder, and generally reflected across THL. Druid, another very popular class, with kind of a ramp and an aggro variety popping up all over THL. Also had lots of Warlock, pretty much just Sludge Warlock. That's been pretty popular as of late. And we also had a good amount of Paladin. The Excavate Paladin has been quite popular since the start of the mini set. That was seeing a lot of play. Am I missing anything? I mean, like, Demon Hunter gets played every now and again. There's some Death Knight sprinkled in there, Warrior as well. I think
Yeah.
that kind of sums up the most popular classes at least.
I would agree with that. Any other thoughts on the meta that we're going to see as what was there last week? So, kind of the past that we're going to be looking at. Okay.
I will say that that priest was also a very powerful class, just because it matched up well into the matched up well into a lot of the aggro, which was
Sure.
about half of it. So as long as you banned druid, you're facing most likely aggressive decks, and then those decks don't really have as good of answers to Naga priests, although Sludge Warlock then later improved their deck and became a bit better into Naga Priests. So around the time of submission, we probably see more priests looking at the older data, but now not only did Warlock's competition get nerfed, but also Warlock was just getting better.
True. Now, let's see if that is kind of how it looked like as we look into our first match of the night. We're going to go to Teal Conference to look at F12 Black versus Ogre Flow, one of the two matches that really determined what happened in Heroes. So, let's say for this one, I think Azalea, as one of our F12 representatives, can tell us what happened.
Absolutely, and oh boy, we have we have my favorite result, Hearthcenter's favorite result. We have a
Yes.
tie. Yes, we have a tie, and so F12 and Ogreflow tie at 13 points apiece, and our one seed matchup, Nice Use Owl goes in a five game series win over Always Just in Time. Rabobson taking a 3-1 win over Bill Snyder, and Ramiet with a 3-2 win over Crit E Cal. So those were 3 wins for F12 Black. Then the 4-5 Cs went the way of Ogreflow, with Rock to You getting a 3-0 sweep over Starlax, and Ruski getting a 3-1 win over Judo Chop, which completes a tie.
Nice. Geranium, anything you want to say here?
Yeah. I know a bit more information about the decks that were played, and sort of the match order. I will say it was when it was Bill Snyder versus Rebobson and Roofsky versus Judo Chop that happened pretty much on the last day, whereas everything else had been done about a week before that. Mm-hmm. So going into that final match, Roofsky needed to get a 3-0 sweep or a 3-1 in order to have any chance of the team making playoffs by getting, just squeezing the extra point there. And managed to do it. So that was a pretty necessary win. I will also say Nice Jewish Owl bringing the mage is very interesting. As I stated before, I think that priest from Justin is probably Naga priest, and that mage was Naga mage.
The classic.
Chicken, anything you want to say here? Chicken?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I ran into a Naga mage in the tournament over on Sunday actually, and it really did not do very much. But it was also maybe because I was playing decks that were already that were fairly aggressive and kind of put pressure on it earlier than it could get on board, I suppose. But yeah, Naga mage does not feel good. I mean, aside from the fact that Siren is 5 mana now, you also have Inquisitive Creation being more expensive too, so it's harder to swing the board back and harder to refresh enough mana to even get all the way back up to play Inquisitive Creation on a pop-off turn. So yeah, definitely playing against the deck, it really did not feel like much of a threat most of the time.
Well, even though it's not much of a threat to the meta, sometimes it seems to draw very well, and it almost swept by taking the first 2 games of that match. So Nagamage sometimes gets it done.
Shall we move on to our second hero match of the night?
Yeah, let's take a look.
All right, so let's look at our second match, where we take a look at a Premium Mountain facing the Department of League Administration, the other match to determine finals. And Chicken is going to tell us about this one.
All right. Yes. As soon as it shows up on the stream, I will. Okay, it's there. Okay. Yeah, we had APM taking down Dola, 15-11, getting 18 points for themselves. But the interesting thing about this week is that Ron Mexico has won a match in Hero Series. Yeah, this is definitely a pretty big day for Dola. You know, surely picking up the morale victory right at the end of the season here. This was the last week of Hero Series, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So APM, a pretty clutch win, like a pretty like absurdly clutch win by them, getting exactly the amount of points they needed to make playoffs here, with Jamie's, F Sriracha, and Yfair all picking up wins, and Chewy and a Harmless Dog getting a combined 3 points to get them right over the line.
It came down to the last day, I'm pretty sure. Chewy played Ron first and got 2 points, and then Harmless Dog got 1 point against Heat Shock, which was enough.
Geranium, anything you want to add here?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting once again seeing the mage in the 5 seed instead of in the 1 seed there, and Heat Shock bucking meta trends again, not bringing a druid nor a warlock, but still getting the win there. So from AP a precarious moments perspective, they were only still in it if a Harmless Dog got swept, got 0 points, and it came down to game 3 for a Harmless Dog to get a win, I believe, with Warlock over I think it was the Paladin, and doing that was just enough to clinch playoffs for the team. So congratulations to a Premium Mountain. At least one of the APMs made it, so pretty happy.
It's true. Anything else anyone wants to tell about this one? Since no one wants to say anything, why don't you, Geranium, tell us about the standings? Who made it in Hero?
Of course. Well, at the very top of the standings, with only 1 loss all season, it was F2L Black with 124 points, 5-1-1 record. The Last Dance managed to take up a win in that last week, so they're at 120 points with a 5-2 record. Then Ogreflow, out of bounds exception, doesn't have a 5-win record. They only have 2 wins to their name, but they still made playoffs, getting 100 points. So it's a classic Justin move to make playoffs with a losing record. And then a Premium Mountain, just behind them at 99 points and a 5-2 record. Then a Precarious Moment, also at 99 points, but in the main season they had lost the tiebreaker to the other APM team, so they are knocked out with a 3-4 record. Notably, they did have the tiebreaker over Ogreflow, so Ogreflow got in with 100, which is exactly enough to avoid getting a tiebreaker and causing any of those shenanigans. Then Department of League Administration at 84 points. Dad Legend also at 84 points, but no tiebreaker needed for them. And no Noon Too High at 79 points.
So we had a bit of a tight end there with three teams competing, but in the end, the precarious moment was the one that went down. Yeah. Should we move on to take a look at Hero PPR?
Sure.
So, Chicken, why don't you tell us what is our hero player power rankings? Who made it? Who are our honorable mentions? And who are the best hero players at the end of the season?
All right, so starting off with our honorable mentions, we have Roofski at 3 and 4. We have Dragon Rider at 3 and 4. We have Rockdew at 4 and 3. We have Crit Ecal at 4 and 3, and Niji Boston at 5 and 2. Then moving into our top 10, we have Lemur at 5 and 2, F Srirachi at 5 and 2, Remiat at 5 and 1, Ree Bobson at 5 and 2, and Nice Jewish Owl at 5 and 1. And then we have our top 5 players that are Danka's Dad at 4 and 2, Heat Shock at 5 and 2, Wi-Fair at 6 and 1, Tab at 6 and 1, and the only undefeated player left in Hero Series, it is of course Pace at 7 and 0 with a 21 and 9 game score. So, congrats to everyone that made the final Hero PPR of the season. And yeah, especially congrats to Pace for the Hero MVP and being on top of the Hero PPR. Very, very impressive stuff. And yeah, I'm excited to see how some of these players do going to playoffs.
And this is quite the stacked roster as always. PPR is so cool. Yeah. Any further comments anyone wants to say about Hero PPR before we move on to Legacy Series?
I will note that Danka's Dad at 4 and 2 may look out of place with all the 5-win people around him, but those 2 losses were to Pace and Heat Shock, so
yeah,
it makes sense why he'd be pushed up.
For sure. Let's move on to take a look at our Legacy matches after this, and I want to congratulate all our Hero PPR as we move on. Congratulations to all of you. Let's take a look at Legacy. So our first match, we're going to look at Just Pimpin' facing the Blind Bandits. And I'm going to ask Azalea. Actually, not Azalea. I'll ask Geranium to tell us about this one.
Of course. Just Pimp In took a close win over the Blind Bandits with a 13-11 victory. That came with Always Just in Time taking a 3-0 sweep over Key Was Full. Fade to Black took the 3-1 victory over Pokemon 661. Hudak won in Game 5 over Livdera. And Skirt Reynolds won 3-1 over Lunar Echoes. And finally, in the 5 seed over Seer, got a 3-0 sweep over Mojo Powell.
Nice. Azalea, anything you want to say about this one?
I mean, very close match, for sure. Congrats to Justin on an undefeated season. And the Blind Bandits, thanks. It's great to see a full team of blind players in THL. We hope that you all decide to come back and keep giving it another try, for sure. And congrats to Justin's team on making playoffs.
Yeah. Anything else anyone wants to say?
I'll note that the Blind Bandits had a lot of team unity on the brings there. Everyone with at least 3 of Druid, Paladin, Rogue, Warlock, and then Shaman being the deck of choice. Otherwise, really shows just how collected they are.
For sure.
Yeah,
Well-
I actually kind of like the brings more from the Blind Bandits, to be honest. Like those are the four classes like I probably would have brought last week, with maybe the exception of like Demon Hunter being like a fifth that I felt pretty good about too. But yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe it's just like people don't really like Demon Hunter as much, but that's certainly one that I felt has been quite underplayed, at least in a lot of these matches.
I agree.
I really like the deck. So, yeah.
I mean, as long as you can draw Sharpshooter, Demon Hunter is very good.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of ways to draw, so it's pretty likely.
And not likely enough, but pretty likely.
Yeah.
Should we move on to our second legacy match of the night? So, Azalea, why don't you tell us about the Last Dance facing the Dad Legend?
Absolutely. All right. The Last Dance, with their last week, needed to go undefeated in the regular season, went ahead and completed the 7-0 run with a 16-9 victory. So that for Dad Legend's only win, it was King Viking 23 getting a 3-0 sweep over Neji Boston. But then down the line for Last Dance, it was all victories. We have Ron Mexico with a 3-2 win over Halo. We have G-Kick with a 3-1 win over Pescatarian. You Kitten Me closing out an undefeated regular season with a 3-1 win over Yellow Dart. And Brushy Tuna down in the 5, my guy, getting a 3-1 win over Haster to really separate themselves and pretty much secure that bye week in Legacy.
Nice. Let me ask here, Chicken, anything you want to add about this match?
Yeah, and it was a pretty great regular season by the Last Dance, especially in the Gold Conference. They're really the team that's pulled ahead from everybody else. And yeah, like for me in Legacy, I mean, we'll talk about it more when we get to the standings. But yeah, there really have been two teams that look really strong, and it'll be a pretty massive upset if they lose to anyone other than each other.
For sure.
So yeah, just more of the same from the Last Dance, including Neji getting swept.
For sure.
Bro, true.
Anyone else wants to say anything about this match? If not, this is a good time to look at the standings. So, Chicken, what are the standings looking for Legacy now that it's over?
Taking a look at the Gold Conference, we have the Last Dance at 134 points. We have Dad Legend at 101 points. We have Danger THL Degenerates at 98. And we have Big W Esports at 91. Defias at 89. And 10 Gallon R-Hats at 78. Then moving over to the Red Conference, we have A Posse Missing at 139. We have Just Pimpin' at 109. F2L White at 100. E.T. Cthulhu at 96 points, the Stubbs at 82, and the Blind Bandits at 67. And just for a reminder, it was the top 3 teams from each conference that made playoffs. So in gold, that's the Last Dance, Dad Legend, and STD. And in red conference, that's APM, Just Pimpin', and F2L White.
Nice. Let's take a look at Legacy PPR. Now that we've seen what teams made it, we can talk about who made it. So who are the best players in Legacy, Azalea?
Right. So, Legacy PPR, we can start with our honorable mentions. Our honorable mentions: we got Brushy Tuna at 4-3 going 16-3 on game score. We have Yockster at 5-2. We have Ring 13 at 4-3. Chronic also at 4-3, and G Kick as our final honorable mention at 5-2. Starting the top 10, we have at number 3 we have Rocked You with a 6-1 record, a 15-7 game score. Number 9, we have Dragon Rider at 4-3 with 18-4. Number 8 above her is Ron Mexico at 5-2, 18-13. And then we have Jammies at 5-2 with 17-9 game score. Number 6, Dr. BOMD, 5-2, 19-11 game score. And now we move into our top 5, where we have F Srirachi 1 at 6-1 at 20-11. And from here, it is undefeated players, starting with You Kit and Me, are 7-0 with a 21-8 game score. Number 3 was Just in Time, 7-0, 21-8. Number 2 is Epicat, 7-0, 21-6, and our top spot goes to Caleb EM, 7-0, 21-7. So Legacy PPR lands APM at the top.
Nice. That is quite the result. Anything anyone wants to mention here? I'll ask Geranium. Any comments you want to share?
Well, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of powerful performances from a lot of the players. We saw last week, there were, I think, like 6 or 7 players who were undefeated. So it's no surprise that most of them do stay undefeated going into this final week, which is, as chat is commenting, going to make figuring out who MVP is quite hard, unless you have watched it before, you know what the metrics are. But yeah, I mean, with a player that's 6-1, only getting 10th is pretty. You know, if you have any thoughts about that kind of information, all you have to do is search NHL NJ Fan 1, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious why Rocky isn't higher up.
it's because you got a DQ win.
It's
But,
because
whatever.
an unfortunate DQ.
But also,
otherwise
any
would
complaints?
probably be up there. Otherwise, would probably be up in the in that 5 range with F Srirachi.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Congratulations to our legacy PPR players. Let's move back to the main screen, where we are going to have a quick challenge that I just figured out. And I'll give the challenge while we have Azalea. No, let's have Geranium today read our commercial. So while Geranium reads our commercial, the challenge of the day is there are only 2 cards that are overload 3. Every other card has less overload. What are they? It's an easy one, just a warm up.
Well, to be clear, there is a card with more overload than 3.
Is there?
Elemental
Yeah.
Destruction.
That's true.
It actually got buffed to be, I think, 4 instead of 5 or something like that.
But there are only
Yeah.
2 cards with overload 3.
Okay, well, while everyone else thinks, yo, hey there, Twitch viewers. Have you yet decried the Team Hearth League yet? Then make today the day to subscribe yourself to our channel. The subscription increases our team to smother the fruits of operating our website, as well as improve the quality of our Runeterra content to our Justice Janos. If you have Amazon Plague/Twitch Plague, you can subscribe to the channel for free. Slug subscribers will get a THL emoticon as well as a normal THL chat badge. So flip that gums up button and make sure you crumbs our streams. We appreciate each and every one of you. Trusty note to our viewers, smirk out THL's other social media plagues of interest. The website is teamhearthleague.com. Follow us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord at Team Hearth League. And face us at Hearthstone at Death Plagueis number 69420, as well as a normal THL chat badge. The true Hearthstone sub-legend Reg Geranium continues to thumbs down all our pastries on our YouTube channel. You can't even see the number anymore, dummy. Just search for Team Hearth League to see some things previously recorded, or don't. We will not check. You are better, but not worse, watching us on our Twitch channel, or possibly on your YouTube Cran Apple yet. And for all you NHL fans out there, there are NJ Fan 1 match shows most days of the weekdays. You can go wrong not tuning in at any time for that Lorcana related content. Now back to the good part. Ka-chow.
Ka-chow indeed. I just want to make 2 quick corrections. And thanks Geranium for the commercial, first of all. First, Elemental Destruction now has Overload 2.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was the buff. Never mind. It used to be 5.
Yeah, but there are actually 3 cards with Overload 3. So what are they?
Well, I know 2 of them.
I know at least one of them.
Go ahead, Chicken.
I'm gonna say one of them is Criminal Lineup.
Oh, there are 4 actually. I forgot about Criminal Lineup. This is not a well thought out
Okay,
question.
there are 4.
There is Criminal. No, Criminal Lineup is Overload 2, not Overload 3. Never mind. I was correct.
I thought of one.
Oh, it's only 2. Wow. Damn, that card's
I'll wait
insane.
until Azalea goes. I still have 2, even after criminal lineups.
Which is not correct.
Well, there's
Okay.
crushing hand.
Crushing Hand is
Yeah.
correct.
2 mana deal 8 overload 3. Deal 8 to a minion overload 3.
Great card.
It is an old, I believe, Kobold's card.
Yep.
The one that I know is the 10 mana. It's like Elemental Storm or something like that. It's 10
Eye of
mana,
the
summon
Storm.
3 5/6 minions. Eye of the Storm.
Yeah.
5/6
right.
taunts.
And there's one more, and I know it's a shaman card.
Well, yeah.
Well, because other classes have overload.
Not really.
Yeah,
There... Warrior has it.
but you're right. Actually, it is mostly dual class cards. I think.
Oh.
Actually. But
He was asking about the
like the
4 mana 3/8 taunt.
yeah, that's
Maybe it's not 4 mana, but-
Bakari Spellhound?
Drakari Defender. It's I think it's a 3.
I thought it
mana
was
2/8?
Overload 2.
Nah,
Yeah, I also
Drakari
think it's-
Defender is 3.
Oh.
Yeah, I remembered. Yeah.
It is 3? 3?
Yeah.
Huh. I was thinking of a different card, which no one said. I don't know. Clearly my search method did not work. That was quite obvious. But the card I was thinking of is, Drakari Defender is 3. The card I was thinking of was Neptulon, the original.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Oh.
You're right. OG Neptulon. Yeah, fill your hand.
Yeah, add 3 Murlocs to your head.
Add 3 Murloc. I'd like 3 or 4 Murlocs, right? It's 4 Murloc. No,
You-
it's 4. It's 4.
You are
Please
going to
Whole
pay.
Murlocs?
You
Murlocs,
overload
overload
3
3
and
for
get a
7
7 mana 7/7 to add 4 Murlocs to your hand. It's so bad.
Oh.
It's a card of all time for sure.
It's so bad. I'm sorry.
It really is. Yeah.
But let's move on to Pro, where we actually have good cards being played. And we had a crazy match, which we're going to start with. Chicken, why don't you tell us about the Last Dance facing Brushy Tuna?
Yeah, in the last week of the regular season in Pro, we had 2 Juggernaut teams going at it, and
One more week.
oh, what? Oh
Yeah,
my
this is the
god,
last-
so
this is
many
the-
weeks.
This is the last week.
Bro is
the
not
okay.
over yet. It never
This
ends.
is why I thought we eliminated double weeks.
No,
Anyway,
Well, mini set is always a double week.
unfortunately. Yeah, we had the Last Dance taking down Brushy Tuna, the top 2 teams in Pro Series. Oh look at all these players playing Demon Hunter. These folks must be pretty smart. Yeah, lots more Demon Hunter, a lot less Paladin across both these teams, Brushy Tuna had quite the congruent lineup. Aside from
one besides Pocket's Druid.
yeah, Pocket having I guess a couple differences in his Druid deck.
Yeah. It's
But yeah, it was this makes a lot more sense to me. I don't know what Heat Shock was cooking with that Mech Rogue, but it was there.
It was there.
Yeah, I also pure Paladin. We have moved on to a different Paladin. That is for sure. But yeah, like most of the decks here are pretty normal and kind of what I would have expected. You know, the big banter faces and the pocket trains and the dread eyes and so on will kind of stay away from a class like Paladin where, you know, maybe sometime if you don't just curve out, you will just lose the game, and kind of they'll allow their play to do more of the talking than their draw quality.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's looking pretty good for both these teams. You know, Brushy Tuna getting 9 points is definitely the lowest amount of points they've gotten this season so far, but obviously not too much to worry about, although Cheesemongers are now only 6 points behind them going into the final week.
And they play each other this week.
And they do. So all you have to do is not lose. Seems simple enough to me.
Looking at Heat Shock's lineup, it looks like it's actually still mining Paladin. It's just pure mining Paladin. And yeah, Pocket's other druid is the Beetle Druid. That's, I think, classified as
Wait, this isn't even pure. He has a Slither Spear in his deck. Great job, website.
Everyone ping NHL NJ Fan 1 on
It's okay.
Discord.
It's okay. Don't bother. Right.
I mean, yeah, it's running the Countess. That's what it checks for.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Death Beetle Druid, which I think was classified and on HSR is like, what's the name of the spell? I don't know.
Shatter Druid. It's called Shatter
Yeah,
Druid.
Shatter.
Yeah.
Shatter Druid, and it became like the best Druid later on in the weekend. So
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Anything else anyone wants to say about this match before we move into our second pro match of the night? All right, let's take a look at our second match as we look at Aussie Pro Mafia facing F2L. And Geranium will tell us about this one.
of course, Aussie Pro Mafia got a big win over F2L with a 16-11 score that came with Oddlaw winning a sweep over Seth for Christ. Maxibon1234 getting a 3-1 win over Marty B. Robobson took the Game 5 over Reverb, and F Sriracha 1 took the Game 5 over Yo Daddy. But the sub Ramiat took a Game 5 win over Itachi to bring it home for APM. And yeah, just in case we weren't done talking about Naga Mage, there it is again.
Yeah.
There it is again, and this time, and you know, it's still winning. It's winning in pro. It is winning in hero. You should all play it in your matches because it just wins.
Storely.
That is the takeaway. I am sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as I've been saying every week in Hearthcenter, APM's having a great season. Only one point out of a playoff spot. Look at that. They're doing exceptionally well, as I've always said. So you know, they're just gonna carry this win into this week, get another win. Then you're just win streaking in playoffs, and then you're unstoppable. So yeah, this is obviously an easy Pro Series win for APM if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that is Chicken's pick of all last season. So APM is, well, I mean, we'll hear what Chicken's pick is later on in the show, maybe.
All right. Any further thoughts about APM versus F2L, the battle of the acronyms? If that's a no, Geranium, what are the standings looking like going into the final week of the season?
Of course, Black Conference. has Staff of the Four Dubs and Owl at the top at 104 points. F2L is not that far behind with 90 points. Aussie Pro Mafia is only 1 point out of that playoff spot at 89 points. Imp Osters is at 77 points, and AFG Pros is at 51. Then in the Pink Conference, we've got The Last Dance at 138 points. Much closer behind is Brushy Tuna at 135. Then Cheesemongers United is at 129, once again, just 6 points out of playoffs. And All Possible Means is at 107, and Opportunistic Pro Players is at 71.
Nice. So it's still a tight race. It's just going to be one of those weeks, I guess, where everything is going to just go down to crazy matches and final results.
Yeah, it seems like both conferences have a bit of a 3-team race going on where none of the teams in each conference are really secure in their position.
No, nobody's locked.
Yeah,
What's that?
and with Brushy Tuna facing Cheesemongers United, that's kind of a win and in for either team, almost. I mean, if it's very close, technically Brushy Tuna can still squeak in with the loss, but yeah, crazy that.
Yeah. Now, let's take a look at the player power rankings. Who made PPR so far? And I believe the one to tell us is Geranium. So who is in Pro PPR?
Of course, starting with the honorable mentions, we've got Elbomb 25, 4-3, then Pocket Train at 4-2, Pilot 712 at 4-3, our very own Lotus Knight at 5-2, and finally Parawax at 5-2. Getting into the top 10, Wild 9 is 6-1 with an 18-9 game score. Oddlaw is 5-2 with a 17-9 game score. Stinzy is 5-2 with an 18-8 game score. Dreadeye is 6-1 with an 18-10 game score. Pyrolama is also 6-1 but only 16-9 game score. Donkey is 6-1 with a 20-3 game score. Neji Boston is also 6-1, 19-10 game score. Agent Puyi is 6-1 with a 20-11 game score. Aquaman 575 is 6-1 with a 19-10 game score. And I mean, it's THL Pro. McBannerface is our number one at 7-0 with a 21-9 game score.
That's quite the crew assembled there. Everyone here is an amazing player. I mean, what can I even say? We have GMs, we have world champions. It's just the craziest crew ever. Any thoughts about Pro PPR before we move back to our main screen for our checkout question?
Yeah, Pro PPR is just always pretty funny to look at. It's just like the incredibly stacked amount of players there.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it last week, but Donkey having only 3 losses on the whole season means that every single win was a sweep, and the 1 loss was a 2-3. So after he loses 1 game, he knows how the entire thing will go, I guess.
So, bringing us back to the main screen for our final question of the night. And the final question I want to ask the 3 of you is the meta fixed? They destroyed Druid, they hit Rogue hard, they hit Paladin hard. Is Hearthstone better now? And I'll start with Azalea. Quick answers.
Short answer is I don't know. Long answer is maybe. Maybe the meta's leaning more in towards a balance, but Warlock is still gonna. I think Warlock is still gonna be a very powerful class. But in general, I think it might at least Druid being hit. I mean, they really hit Druid. They hit every single Druid deck possible. To that in some capacity. But yeah, I mean, I think time's gonna tell on it, but I think Warlock is gonna stand out.
Fair. Geranium, did they fix the meta?
Short answer, no. Instead of Paladin and Rogue, we instead have Control Warrior and Plague DK as the only two decks that Sludge Warlock can lose to. Plague DK also ruins Control Warrior. This is a great meta. None of the other decks can really do anything.
Chicken, is the meta fixed?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say give a no on that one. I don't really get why playing Death Knight is like so pushed. Has felt like one of the least interesting decks we've seen in recent memory. And yeah, it like, I don't know, it just feels like we are nerfing everything else until Death Knight is the best deck in the game, and then everyone is playing it, and then every player has every player approaches a 50% win rate, because yeah, the deck plays itself.
So
It's not very
boring.
interesting in my opinion.
Plague DK is so boring. It's just get Hellia and win.
By the way, I will mention that the Dragon Druid is still around, so Druid isn't even gone. So thumbs
you're
up.
right. The deck isn't overwhelming. Like,
Sure.
it's super overwhelmingly powerful. Like they nerfed it in the past.
Well, with that, I want to take this opportunity to thank all our viewers and to thank Azalea Kari, Geranium Battle, and Super Chicken for joining me tonight. Keep your eyes out for our next shows. We have match shows in the weekend. If you want to play your match on stream, you can. DM Saku, DM me. We'll find you a slot. You can also message in the Stream Matches channel. That is the most efficient way if you want to try it. And with that, I want to wish you all a good night, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a good night, everyone.